I'll speak at the state level, and then Mick can talk about it at the federal level. You're absolutely right about the need for term limits, which is why I voluntarily have term limited myself, because there's going to come a point in time where if you spend enough time in Columbia and you climb the ladder and you get a position of power with a committee, all of a sudden you're interested in your self-preservation, holding on to your power, getting donations from the various industries that you're benefiting, and you stop passing public policies that benefit the people. So it didn't always used to be that way, but it certainly is that way now. I wasn't a proponent of term limits until the last several years because I always thought the people could decide to throw people out of office if they wanted to, but as a practical matter, once you get your hooks into power and once you get yourself hooked up to that money and once you get the name ID and the machine in place, it becomes virtually impossible to unseat an incumbent. I mean, my particular experience was a unique one. I did beat an incumbent, but that's a very rare occurrence. Now, from a constitutional standpoint, it's extraordinarily difficult to have that incorporated into a part of your Constitution because it takes a 2/3 vote of the House and a 2/3 vote of the Senate before it's ever sent down to the people to vote on. Now, if you could ever send it down to the people to vote on, I think it would pass probably 90-10. I firmly believe that. But think about the individuals who are voting on it in the House and the Senate. I mean, those are the individuals who don't want to have term limits. And what they'll connive to do, and I've seen it happen a lot when it comes to tough votes, it will never come to a vote. It'll be blocked in committee, or it'll be tied up in a filibuster, or it will be blocked by some other procedural mechanism. And so they never have to have that tough vote. They never have to go ahead and be on the record as opposing term limits because they realize that the people want it, because the people realize there's a fundamental disconnect with their values and how they're being represented in Columbia. So it's extremely difficult. It doesn't mean we shouldn't keep trying, but as a practical matter, that threshold of 2/3 of each body is very difficult, and it becomes even more complicated in the Senate because any bill that's filed in the Senate, it goes to a committee chairman, and there's no hearing held on that bill unless that committee chairman wants there to be a hearing. So if a bill comes along and that chairman doesn't like it, he simply sticks it, and I say he because there's no women in there now, not yet, but he simply sticks it in a desk drawer and it never gets a hearing. So that's the problem. The rules prevent a vote on something that would be extraordinarily difficult to pass even if you got it to a vote. Should it happen? Yes. Straight talking to you, is it likely to happen given the current political makeup and given the rules? No.